Hello and welcome everyone to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host Liam, aka Himbar, and today I'm going to be doing my weekly update. This is Liam's Leapings number 40 for the 20th of May, 2023. We're already almost through May. That's crazy. Anyways, just where I talk about basically the things I did this week. I was really busy this week. I had a lot of stuff going on, but I still did actually manage to get a good amount of reading in. So I'm pretty happy about that. I did read Faust Part 1, which was pretty good actually. I was liking it a lot. I actually don't mention some of the stuff I read because I read a decent amount for school, and if it's torture, I generally don't mention it. If I ended up liking it, I will mention it. Um, I don't want to think about the crap I have to read sometimes. It also make these videos longer, but I did actually get part two. I forgot to mention a few books from the last couple of weeks, but so I'll mention those later. But Faust Part Two is by Goethe. Of course, this part two is actually in considerably better condition than my part one copy, but it's like twice the length of part one. So I finished part one though, and I'll read part two at some point. I don't have to read this one, but I'd like to. I hear it's very different. So it's The Light Fantastic by Terry Pratchett. I thought this one was good. I don't know. Like part of me felt like I should have liked it more still though. I'd still like to continue on in Discworld. Maybe it's the first two that are just fine. You know, maybe not like great, or maybe it just doesn't. Maybe it doesn't land for me. I don't really know. It's really not bad, by any means. So, I did enjoy it. You know, it's just when you have like certain expectations, you're thinking, "Oh, this is going to be great," because everyone loves Discworld, basically. Like I said, it's fine. And then I finished this. So I started this one actually a while ago. I say a while, like a few years ago. I started it. I got through like the first part, which is not very far at all. And not very far at all. Okay. And I just finished it. I read the whole thing this week. Very good. I shed a tear or two. Of course, about Tolkien. It is authorized, so the author of the biography met Tolkien. Right, so that's important. Informative. I knew a lot of the stuff already, but it was a lot. It was good to be refreshed on some things and to get more details on other things. So yeah, that was nice. I could see myself rereading it at some point again in the future. And then I also read The Battle of Malden together with The Homecoming of Berthnoth. Guess I was kind of in a Tolkien mood. I don't think this is out in the US still. I ordered this copy from the UK, but this is really good. Interestingly, so The Homecoming of Berthnoth is something I was aware of for a few years, but I didn't. It's kind of rare. I think it was rather hard to get a hold of. I can't remember exactly which books it had been printed in at different points, but suffice it to say, I didn't have a copy of it. I hadn't read it, and it's a sequel to the Battle of Malden. Now, what's funny here is that the Homecoming actually is first in the book, and then you read the Battle of Malden, which is just kind of like a pretty straight translation for narrative purposes of the Battle of Malden, which is only a fragment of a poem, anyways. But I really liked it, and I like the lectures. There's lectures, and there's Overmode, which is tied to the Homecoming, and then there's some other lectures, like lectures that Tolkien would have given while he was a professor about or related to Malden, which is pretty cool. I mean, we get like his famous lectures that are just given as like bigger lectures, kind of like on fairy stories or Monsters and Critics. These are more like maybe like more regular lectures, stuff you'd normally get from him. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. So I also, let's see, I don't think I read any of Beneath the Web this week by Abby. I might have read some. I like to read more. I've read so busy. It's been bonkers to me. I was like, why is like school like slamming me this semester? It is not what I was expecting at all. Let's see, I had 3 essays due this week. I had a test, a bunch of other homework. I have 2 tests next week. I don't know. It was just a lot. It was a lot this week. And man, some of the readings for some of these classes, it's really one class in particular I just do not care for it at all. Anyways, that's enough of my complaining. I have read some of Between Princesses and Other Jobs by DJ Butler. I'd like to get more into that now that I'm kind of done with some other books. That reminds me, because I want to write about that actually for my next column, my next newspaper column for Big Canoe News, since I'm doing a column every other issue, at least for right now. And so I had an idea of like 3 books I wanted to talk about. They're all sci-fi, at least they all take place in the future. So I can talk about this. And Between Princesses and Other Jobs is the third of the 3. I read the other 2. I need to read this one. And I'm really liking what I'm reading. I'm just going rather slow. One book I did also read a decent amount in is Lord Dunsany's The King of Elfland's Daughter. I don't have much to say on this one right now, except for I am enjoying it. I think I'll probably have more thoughts once I go through this. I'm also going to be doing a project on this book. My choice, hence why I chose this. It had to be a book I hadn't read before either. So that's basically it. I didn't really write much of anything this week, sadly. This did come out. I mentioned it last week. Half Human Heroes. I got my copy, which is really cool. This looks so white, and it's really white anyways. There you go. It's really cool to see my name in print. I like it. I like it a lot. So there it is. That's so cool. I don't know. I like it. I don't know. There's just not much to say there, but it's really cool. I dig it. I'm gonna have to learn how to sign. Have a decent signature. Like, I'm sure I'm not really gonna have like any fans to sign it for, but family members, right? I'm sure probably want that maybe. I did get the Lisa Laughter's End by Stephen Erickson. This is the 3rd Bookland Colbert Roach novella I would like to read soon, because it's pretty quick and easy read. And then I got this for class, Monster Calls. I have no clue, honestly, what this is really about. This is that class that I just basically don't care for so far. Like almost everything I've read in the class. There's been some things that are okay, but the last few things are just so dull. Anyways, these next 3 books are super exciting. All these books are cool besides that last one, which I have no clue what it'll be like. But I got a copy of The History of the Hobbit. Look how big this thing is. This is almost 1,000 pages, I think. I haven't even looked, to be honest. Look how big it is. Yeah, it's almost 1,000 pages. So this is by John D. Ratliff? I think it's Ratliff. I think that's how he says it. I'm not sure, actually. I remember the Center for Fantasy and Science Fiction, I think is what it is, at University of Glasgow. Or Glasgow? I don't know. Anyways, any Glaswegian, tell me if I said that good enough. This has normally, I think, been in 2 or 3 volumes. And so they just came out this week with a single volume edition. It's rather expensive. It is an academic work. But what's cool about this, for those who are unaware, it's not just a history of the Hobbit with it's just not Ratliff's commentary. It is the manuscripts of the Hobbit. It is like Hobbit from the first word to the publication, basically. So you have Gladderthin, I think is the name of Gandalf for most of it. Gandalf is the name of Thorin for a good chunk of it, actually, as well. So you basically get that story. I'm really looking forward to getting through this. I've wanted this for years, and I just didn't want to buy, because all the copies, the ones that come in multiple volume issues, are all rather pricey, or at least they were every time I looked. So this is more, I don't know. It's not cheap. I don't want to say it's cheap, because this copy was like $50. The recommended price, does it even say it on here? It just says ebook. That's weird. Okay. This isn't an ebook. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one though. Oh, $55. That's the recommended price, USD. So that's rather pricey. It's rather a thick boy though. This is really thick. Oh my goodness, I don't know. This is very exciting. Finally, I can be the Hobbit expert I always wanted to be. I know a decent amount of Tolkien stuff anyways. but no, it'll be really cool. And Ratliff is cool because he became a scholar later. He actually was originally, you might know him for his like D&D content, his tabletop role-playing game stuff. Like I have the EverQuest tabletop role-playing game, and he was part of that as well. And that's just really cool that he just went to be a Tolkien scholar. I think that's super awesome. I also got the Nature of Middle Earth because there was a something in here I wanted to look at for a presentation I'm going to give this week on philology, by the way, which is Tolkien stain, which is super cool. I'm looking forward to that a lot. If that actually happens, I'm supposed to be giving a presentation on philology. But here it says Tolkien marked the passage regarding the artistic primacy of language as a crucial point with a large star or asterisk, whatever that is, against it, on the similarity of Western speeches of men with Quindian or Kindian or whatever he pronounced it as, the Lamis, whatever. Anyway, so it's the artistic primacy of language, right? So language is the primary art. That is what I kind of like seen that as amended as. So it's cool. And this came out 21, I think. The other one is like The Fall of Numenor that came out recently. So I did not have Nature of Middle Earth. My other really big, this is so cool, like Old English philology. This is edited by Leonard Nydorf, Raphael Pasquale, and Tom Shippey. These are essays on philology. It's a festschrift in honor of R.D. Folk. When I reached out to Tom Shippey early last year, and I said, if I want to study philology, Mr. Shippey, Professor Shippey, what do I study? And he gave me a list of a bunch of stuff, and almost everything he recommended was by Folk. And I have some of Folk's stuff, but very little of it. And he also recommended this festschrift in honor of Folk, which he is one of the editors for. And I was like, okay, cool. And so they're kind of pricey as it's an academic text. Not really surprising to me, sadly. But I was like, I got to have this. The Old English Philology. That's what it's called. So it's got some cool looking essays in here. It looks like there's 20. The last one is Beowulf Studies from Tolkien to Folk by Tom Shippey. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to this. I have another one I've been meaning to get to as well, is Old English Tradition, which focuses, I think, a little bit on archaeology. It's got codicology and stuff in there. I haven't even opened that one yet, but it's just so cool. Look at this, man. I'm so excited. Anyways, I have been doing some of Folk's grammar as well, which is actually free online. I found it free online. So because it was like a couple $100, I think, when I looked for it. Physical copy, and the online version's updated as well. So anyways, that is what I did this week. That's the stuff I got. I wanted to keep this shorter, but I don't know. I got excited about these books, guys. I have been reading some good stuff. Getting better with my philology. That's nice. I like it. I'd like to get more work. I do a lot of stuff and I get paid for very little of it. And the stuff I do get paid for, I don't get paid for much. Generally, also I'm not doing much of it, so I'm not getting paid much because I'm not doing much of it. So I'm looking for a job. If that makes sense. Like that's what I want. I'm trying to get into the publishing industry more, and I have done some copy editing, and I was an intern for a indie publisher as well. But I'm getting more experience, which will hopefully open more doors, and hopefully I'll get more stories published too. That gives me very little money. The biggest paycheck I've gotten for a story so far is $17. That's tiny. Anyways, but it's better than nothing. So, anyways, this has been Liam of Liam's Lyceum. Hopefully this video isn't too laggy. My connection's awful, even though I'm plugged straight in with the Ethernet cord. But anyways, I will catch you next time. What have you